Happy Friday to you.
Happy Friday to you too.
Thanks, brother. Hang on, let me get some light going. How's the weather down there today?
I'm gonna change my light too real quick. You can see a little better. I'm looking a little dark. Well, hopefully that helps. Oh, dude, weather has been just beautiful here. Beautiful.
Really?
We were over at the park last night, just sitting under the stars. Very, very light breeze, letting us know that fall is coming. And temperatures dropped to about 75, 80 degrees. It was like I couldn't even feel it basically. Most of the time it was just like it was beautiful.
Huh. Yeah, that sounds like it. Looks like it's sunny out there. You just opening the blinds. We got rain. We got all kinds of rain.
Really?
Oh yeah. What does that mean?
Oh, and rejuvenation, man. Rain brings the plants and it cleans things. The element of water is mutable, so it's transforming from one thing to another. So you can either use it, as a weapon or as a tool if you want, or you can just observe it if you want to also, and just, hey, that's pretty. I like that, right?
So yeah, I could go all kinds of different directions today. We had a really good call last week. Actually, no, boy, time flies. I think it was 2 weeks ago. I just wanted to ask you real briefly, because something big going on for me right now is I have actually gotten off of my antidepressant, and I'm like 5 days off, and I've gotten more done in the last 2 days. Like something has clicked that I had been like avoiding and putting off for very, very long time. And we're not medical professionals by any means, and everyone needs to check with their doctor and what they're doing. But I mean, based on your experience getting off of this antidepressant and getting more in touch with my emotions and feelings and things that me and you have talked about on many of our calls, I'm now actually starting to experience a little bit deeper feeling, I guess I could say, or connection or emotion. I was at the gym the other day and I started crying, like tears of joy, like I honestly haven't cried for a long time because I just don't allow myself to feel. So I just wanted to kind of get your perspective of, like antidepressants, and then also, emotion and feeling and getting in tune with that type of stuff. If you just had any thoughts on it, or any ideas come to mind as I bring that up.
I would love to talk about that. You're right. We're not medical professionals, and these are just experiences that we have and perspectives that we can share. And I'm the founder of the Elemental Hypertech system, and depression is built into our matrix. We have these abilities, and I like to relate it to time, right? Because with the time travel game and stuff. So this might help you as well. And for me, when you look at health, and you look at depression, it comes from the past. And if you are, and the opposite would be somebody who is anxious. And if you're anxious, that comes from the future. So what happens is that helps you, in my estimation, helps you find where the root is first, where to start. You got to know where to start. Do I start in my gut, or do I start it in my mind? Where's the depression coming from? Okay. And I think this is kind of what you came to. You realized illumination took place, and you realized, I need to do something about this, because I want to become better and more refined and defined in my skills and my talents. And I know this is something that's holding me back, because I have a goal and an aim, and I can't reach that. I plateau if I don't break free of these chains, right? This is kind of like what's happening internally. It's all this pressure that has been building up inside of you, but that is actually the solution, is going into the pressure, which is what you're talking about with the emotions. What I'm talking about is just the diagnoses, just to look at what the problem is first. Depression is something that comes from the past. Fear, guilt, these things start manifesting themselves, and you get more and more depressed the more you think about them, because the mind, as you know, through the elemental hypertech system, the mind is the element of air. So these are important to understand. So these are always fleeting and moving around. So depression kind of builds upon itself, because you can never capture it. And this is why it always seems in our, always around us. So you first locate it, and then you realize, okay, good, it's in the past. Now that you understand it's in the past, how do you navigate to get there, to find out where in the past, where is it? Where is it coming from? And this is the hard part. This is the hard part because you've got to face all the realities that exist in your life right now. And the only way to do that is to look at your habits. Look at what you're doing right here, right now, in this moment, that is feeding that is bringing abundance and health to that. Does this make sense so far? I'm hoping this is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, and then you follow like these routes, or like if you had like a bowl of noodles, right? You locate, okay, there's one noodle, let's follow it. And you get sidetracked along the way because there's other noodles touching it, and that's healthy. Let that play a role, because that all those other, ancillary tributary ideas in your health matrix, okay, is playing a role in that as well. So those are like other, like branches on a tree. Those are other little branches that are coming off of it. And that's healthy to get to those, because you want to understand it. You're not attacking it. You're not doing any of those kind of things. And what happens is when you get off the antidepressants, just to kind of bring things back in a little bit, when you get off the antidepressants, what happens is all these bubbles of stress start percolating out of you, like, because they were not able to express themselves previously, right? Because the antidepressants purposefully build shells around these ideas in your construct, in your memory matrix, how you navigate. And what ends up happening, if you're on antidepressants for too long, you become disconnected from your other mind, which is in your gut. And this is where your feelings and your emotions are. And so because you're crying, you're like, wow, you know what though? I'll tell you what, I bet you when you cried, it was so therapeutic. It was like 10,000 mental gymnastics that you've made in the past, week about depressions, right? The moment because that's like what I call cavitation. When in water, when you drop a stone in water, it causes ripples to come out, but more importantly, it wraps in on itself, and it grabs the environment around it, and it holds information inside. And then what happens is that you can hold that in static, in stasis, or you can make that dynamic. It's hard to make things dynamic when you're on antidepressants because it's not flexible. So what it does, it stays static, it stays in stasis. And then the more these things, the more stasis that you were providing, as soon as you get off the antidepressants, all of a sudden these things start popping. And then if you're aware of them, you start paying attention. Okay, now I can figure out where it's coming from. Okay, oh, it's childhood. Oh, I got to process this. I got to call up my dad and say, Dad, I love you. And then whatever. Or I gotta give my mom a hug next time I see her. Instead of telling her, why don't you clean up your house, or whatever the case may be, right? I'm just giving you examples, because what happens is that the people around us, when we're on them too, we disconnect from them, and then we don't have empathy and sympathy for their needs, and then they start becoming disconnected from us because they can't relate to us anymore. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So by moving out of these structures, it just gives you an alternative reality, but one that's more in harmony with your natural being, your organic being. Okay. So this is where the gut starts coming in. So you have the mind, which is the focused aspects of depression, and you have the gut, which is the aggregated system itself, all of it. So the mind is actually the past, and the gut is the future. So you're crying and you're having these emotional experiences because your future self is trying to speak to you in symbols, and it knows you like working out. And when you like working out, your kundalini activates, and you become into a tantric meditation because your dopamine's working properly, your adrenaline's working, everything's working, because it needs to go, okay, all hands on deck, we're lifting weights. We don't want to wreck this. There's balance, and there's, complexities that come into this. So all your hormones, everything starts working properly. The antidepressants, they're nowhere to be found, by the way, when you're working out, because there's no room for those type of structures when everybody needs to be in top shape to get you to where you want to be, because right. This is where you are focused. Now I'll stop right there because that was a lot of information, but I just want to share that with you. But there's a third option that you are going to find once you move out of those systems. And this third option, if you want me to go into that, I will.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, because we're talking about electricity in the mind and magnetism in the gut. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to create energy from that. And that comes from the heart. And so what you're going to find when you start organizing these two systems through removing yourself from antidepressants, and again, this works opposite for people who have anxiety. People who have anxiety are in the future. So they're always worried about what comes next. They're always, oh no, too many battles, too many people swinging at me. I got too much to do. I got a pile of stuff at work this high, right? And they don't have 5 minutes. So that causes anxiety because you're living in the future because there's so many things you got to do. So this is also in reverse. That's why I'm speaking the way I am. I'm hoping this is okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So in the heart, what happens is when you balance these two, you find the heart is, instead of anxiety in the past, depression anxiety in the future, depression in the past, you find in the present peace. The present, it's a gift. This is what I try to tell people. It's like the present is a gift. That's why it's called a present. It's like, what are you doing right now? If you are on antidepressants, you are separating yourself from parts of you that make you genuine, that make you unique and novel. And then you're able to express yourself in your own way, not in a way that is hindered by removing parts of you that make you who you are and make other people want to be around you. So this is where the heart comes in, because now you're blending both the evidence of the mind and the compassion of the gut and into a place of inspiration and motivation. So that's, you're gonna, hopefully that's kind of like the Trinity when you find in the end.
Yeah. So get to that present moment, and that's really the absolute most authentic self you can be. You're not, I'm not using an antidepressant that's actually holding me back. What I realized, went through some difficult things, and it was nice. At the time, I was not able to handle what I needed to handle. And what's interesting is I did actually start focusing on my body and going to the gym and physically changing. And like you're saying, when I'm at the gym, that was kind of an escape. I could go to the gym and just put all of my faculties and effort into this one workout, and everything else kind of went away. And as I began to develop self-worth and confidence within myself because of the changes I've been seeing from, going through working out and discipline, I've gotten to a point where I feel stronger to be able to look at those things that I had been avoiding and get them taken care of. And within days, things that I've been building up in my mind as a big fear, as a big problem, have now disappeared. And I believe, like what you're saying, I'm getting glimpses and moments, and even, as much as I want to say I'm there, of being in the heart and being in the present moment and connecting with others and being inspired and getting ideas and having things happen that I believe the antidepressant was actually masking. So I see your perspective on things.
Yeah, I'm really happy that you shared that. That's, very revealing and vulnerable as well. And it's and that is the exploration of emotion. What's really cool about emotion, which comes from the gut in the elemental hypertech system that we talk about, is that it is where it's pressurized and magnetic, and it's like a factory, and it's producing all this stuff for you. So it's important to feed it the things in which you want it to produce for you. So the antidepressants, let's just talk about this 1 second. The antidepressants is a tool that you can use within certain circumstances. Okay. Just because here's kind of what I'm trying to say here is that I don't want to shed light onto a drug or a prescription, whether it's illegal or legal, is irrelevant. The issue is that it alters consciousness. Okay, it alters our connection to reality. Okay, these are actually very valuable as well. So I'm not trying to discredit or shed shade on anything regarding this subject, because you can use these technologies for a tool or for a weapon. Mm-hmm. Now, if you do not direct those emotions within the antidepressant structure, you are doing it a disservice, and so now you're using it as a weapon. but you think that you're using it as a weapon because you can't relate to the world, but you're using it as a weapon actually against yourself.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So when you realize you're using it as a weapon against yourself, you're like, well, if I can use it as a weapon against myself, how do I use it as a tool? And then once you realize that, all these new structures and these new timelines become available to you. And then you can direct and organize yourself in a way where it's in harmony with exactly what you intend it to do for you. And you know and this is where it gets really like spooky, is that it'll immediately give that to you, and then you'll be like, well, you know what? I still want to keep practicing. I still want to keep working, even though it's already like, it's like, okay, here. And this is what the nature of reality actually does for you in the end, is it actually gives you exactly what you want. It may not give you what you think or you feel you want, but it gives you exactly what you want in that sense. And that's where peace comes in within the heart structure, because the heart is in the present and it always is providing to you, always. So in other words, if you are speaking into reality, what reality is, right? This is what we do. And if we lie, our life is a lie. It returns to us lies. If it's in truth, it returns to us truth, right? These kind of things take place. This is kind of how we navigate and understand where we're going, the who, what, when, where, why, and how of it all. So when you speak, is it a spell? Is it a curse? Is it a blessing? There's all these different modes, which add all this complexity to the system. And so that's what I'm talking about with drug use and with prescription use and these kind of things, is that, you know, these can be tools as well. So it leads you to what, again, the heart, just to bring it full circle, and the heart is offering you responsibility, because you have action in the body. And when you're working out, you are acting, you are the magician. When you're working out, you're the magician, you're transforming. I'll tell you what, dude, you go to the gym for 6 months and just do it an hour a day. If you don't see a transformation in your body, then you have no magic in your life. I mean, just as a joke, you know what I'm saying? Like, you will transformation. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Oh, 6 months, an hour a day. Yeah. You'll see it.
Yeah. Dude, you will see a change. You will see a change. And this reminds you, this gives you like, oh, just like, this is where hope and faith and belief and all these beautiful concepts come in that you want to hold on to, because you can see things change. Therefore, you now can move out of these depressive, oblivions.
Yes.
Okay. And into the light and say, let's face them and let's do something about it. Let's fix it. Because if I've seen change in the world night and day, that's changed. So therefore, I know that this is a possibility. How do I find that path?
Because once you find that path and then you get clear on exactly what you want and exactly where you want to go, when you realize taking those single small actions, working out for 6 months, that's half a year. A lot of people won't stick to it that long, unfortunately. But those that are diligent and stick to what they decided in their mind long enough, you're going to see change. It's gonna manifest. And we just, whether it's a year, 2 years, 5 years, I mean, what do you want? We get to decide that.
I like to sum it up like this. Inspiration is like your intention. Inspiration is important. But what is inspiration without perspiration? You have to actually physically perform and practice and put into motion your thoughts. So your intention and your actions become unified. So you move within the element that you desire, whether it's fire or like, I'm like all animated and stuff, right? Or if I'm water and I'm just relaxed and calm and speaking to you, or, if I'm in air where I'm giving you all this activity that's going on, right? All these different concepts. Or if I'm, in earth where I'm very fixed and stoic with you and being like A, B, C, D, E, and then you go back to B if E doesn't happen, right? So there's all these different modes in which you can participate.
Yeah.
But the idea is the antidepressants, since they remove a piece of you, it allows you to understand better the others, because they have to take on the responsibility now of what's lacking. And then you get to see the other elements participate within that structure and how they organize themselves with each other. And this is of great value because this is the skills and the talents. This is where we find our failings, because all of us have issues.
Yeah.
Nobody, man, this is part of the beautiful part about this realm that we're in. We are in a realm. We're not on anything. We're in something. So let's utilize that which is full. You are full. Okay. Your consciousness now is still the same consciousness you were when you were a kid. You can recall your past, right? So therefore there has to be some type of mechanism for you to also incorporate your future, to bring information back to your future. Now what's interesting is that, to me, that comes back in symbols, in feelings, not necessarily things physical, because within the elemental hypertech system, just to kind of, not to get too far afield, but I think it might be relevant because we're talking about the body here, is that we have senses. And these senses are the sensors in which we plug into our reality. And each element we've incorporated into our bodies as well. We have the element of air, which is in the mind, which we talked about. The sense in which the element of air utilizes is our eyes. The element of earth, which is our body, the sense that it utilizes is our ears, vibration and sound. You feel, you feel the world. You don't see the world, okay? Don't lose connection. When depression happens, you lose connection with that feeling, with that, the vibration and frequency that all things manifest within. Okay, you are, the words are vibrating, you're hearing me. My body, you're seeing me because of the vibration and frequency and tone that I possess. Okay, so the ears are the body. Now, the nose is connected to your heart. Fire, the element of fire. Your lips are connected to your gut, the element of water. So each of the senses are participating within your reality as well. So you give them a place, you give them a realm of their own for them to create whatever it is that they want, and then they share with you their world. And this way it's by permission, it's by consent, where you're not fighting something or forcing something or taking power from something. You are just want to be in harmony with it and have access to it. And in return, it has access to you as well, as a mover and a shaker, as a player in the game of life.
Okay, so there's the four elements, and like you're saying, we can either we have the power to allow them to assist us. I mean, they're obviously always working, whether we're aware of it or not. So is it kind of similar to having a muscle imbalance within our physical body? If I'm not aware of everything you're talking about, wind, fire, water, earth, they're still working within my reality, in my realm. I'm just not aware or consciously assisting them to do the type of result that I want. Is that right?
I love that. I call that the law of confusion. You have the right to not know, just as much as you have the right to know if you want to. But the difference between not knowing and knowing is a thing that's called work. And it takes a lot of work. And this is where the friction happens. This is where it gets intense for people, because it's daunting and overwhelming. And it's to structure these things, you're building something, right? You're structuring something. It's not just, walking in, like Caine and Kung Fu, walk the earth like Caine and Kung Fu. You're building your own temple, if you will, if you want to call it that. It's or a fort if you're on the, the war. See, I talk about, I've done experiments on my channel, for example, and these experiments are all related to the elements themselves. And there's the Trinity experiment. And in the Trinity experiment, there's two paths. There's war and there's Renaissance. So war is using it as a weapon. Renaissance is using it as a tool. So this is the concepts in which we're discussing here. We're just made it more fine-tuned when we focused on depression and anxiety itself in the present, right? So you have war and Renaissance. War also can be competition. Doesn't necessarily mean, death and destruction. It just means that there is a competitor. And this for people allows you to have an adversary, to have, something to strive for. It entices you to become better. right? So if you see that the oceans are, are dying, and that is you, now we need to be in competition. Now we need to actually get out and do something to either correct it, to win, to fight it, to whatever. You know what I'm saying? All these different words are related to, because language is everything. How we communicate was everything. So we can go to war with that concept, or we can go to Renaissance with that concept. Okay, so does that make sense? So war doesn't necessarily mean killing it. War just means that, we are so passionate about this that, I'm going to plant, 10,000 starfish, and I'm going to bring in, these 3 species back to the, this, I'm going to bring the salmon back, whatever, the striper, whatever, back. And then so you're, you're fighting that, or you can be in Renaissance with that. But Renaissance could still mean the same thing. I'm going to bring back the starfish. And how are you going to do that? There's a separation. In other words, you are in charge of your own destiny. You are dividing and not letting somebody else divide you. You are separating how you want to participate within society. Okay. So this is why the Trinity experiment's about the mind, getting your mind right, getting your mind in the right place. Okay. The Lash factor is about the gut. And that, it's about, there's, on each of the experiments, what's important is that in each of the experiments, they're related to the elements. I don't want to get too far afield here. The echo experiment is the heart, and then there's the private experiment, and that's the body. And that is more in line with Tantra and Kundalini and these aspects. So this is where it gets a little more advanced. But each system wants a role in the nature of our reality. And so it actually, it provides that for us. So what I'm trying to say here is this: there is what I call a morality matrix built into our system and into the nature of our reality. Those are the immortals in the time travel game. There's nothing we can do about the immortals. We might as well just work with them. The earth is the earth. The air, I can feel it. The air is the air. I know it exists because I can feel it. I don't have to see it. I can feel it, right? So and I can taste water, and I can smell things burning, right? Like all these aspects. So I know these are immortals. They were here before I got here. They'll be here after. And no matter what anybody says in between, they're going to do their thing. So what I'm suggesting is that for me, there's a thing called the harmony matrix. And the harmony matrix is organizing yourself in an organic, natural framework. So you're in harmony with nature. Now there's the other side. There's the competition side, which is called the simulation matrix. Okay. So there's the morality, this is the Trinity, the morality matrix, the harmony matrix, and the simulation matrix. So the harmony matrix is the analog, where the simulation matrix is the digital. Now, I don't want you to associate good or bad to this. What I want you to do is just understand that there is a difference between these two, and you can use them as a weapon or as a tool. Is it not awesome that we can communicate to each other? Like, you're so far away from me right now, and I'm communicating to you in real time through this simulation matrix. Dude, that's awesome. That is so awesome. I love that as a tool. This is not a weapon to me.
So
right?
when you're saying you're referring to this actual like computer and technology and
our technology.
Okay, camera. Okay, yeah. Reading
whatever
simulation.
That's the simulation matrix. Whatever that is, our technology. Houses is a technology, is it not? A house?
Yeah.
Okay. So a chair is a technology. These require resources. These require substance and material and mineral and things of the earth. Physical in order to create. This is the simulation. All these things are simulation matrices. It's in order to make our life more comfortable, more usable.
Yeah.
So we want to include this because this provides us what we call culture and civilization. And I want culture and civilization. I don't know about you, but I want those things. So
what if, just for a quick second, I'm just trying to picture it and then let's continue on. What if we took away, this aspect of it, of our life? What would that be like? It
would be the law of the jungle, survival of the fittest.
Yeah. Okay. So this is raw.
It's not necessarily raw. It's okay. Think of it like this. It's more like anarchy. It's more like free markets. It's more like there's no anarchy means no ruler above me, where you are your own ruler. So you are going to die by the sword or live by the sword. You are going to you're going to live by the word or die by the word. Okay, makes sense. So you better be careful what you bring into existence, because you're going to get that. That's what that means. There's no rulers. There's no structure above you that tells you what to do. You have to be responsible for your own actions. So if you go out killing a bunch of people, that's how, that's this karma, man, cause and effect. Things are bad things. You're not necessarily bad things, but there's things that come to you because of your activities. Does that make sense? So it's more like structure. It's a structure of anarchy as opposed to monarchy.
Yeah.
And monarchy is the law. Okay. Where there's like you follow a rigid system and as well. So that's the simulation matrix. The simulation matrix, it's all about following a linear trajectory. It's it has there's a framework built into it, a system built into it, because it's organized. Okay, it's been programmed in the simulation matrix. We have programmed them. Now what we've done is we've programmed them as a mirror image to what the natural world, the organic world, already provides to us. This is what I'm sharing with the elemental hypertech system. It's just it's a mirror image of that. It's putting that into practice, putting those systems into practice.
Yes.
Does that make sense? So you can analog, organic, natural, or you can have the digital simulation. Okay, and both of them are very valuable. We can fly airplanes thanks to the simulation matrix. Okay. So what I suggest, why I bring this up as well, because I've invented the world's first time travel game, right? I'm very, very proud of this. May I bring this up? I'm so sorry.
Oh yeah.
And there is a trinity that I'm talking about with the morality matrix, simulation matrix, and the harmony matrix. Is that time travel, if we organize our structures in a way that is in harmony with nature itself, then why, let's have access to these things, because we are using them responsibly. Therefore it's provided. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And so the time travel game, whether or not one person plays it or a million people play it, it doesn't matter at this point, because we've allowed that to exist.
It's available.
In our reality.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to the reason, that's why the reason, because you have to have ways of competing. You have to have ways of seeing whether these things work or not, whether you're wasting your time or you're actually seeing a benefit. When you go and work out, if I'm doing this all the time and I'm not seeing a result, then I need to change my practice, because I'm not seeing results. I'm not being rewarded. There's no treasure that is being accumulated, and health is that aspect. So just one more thing, there in the elemental hypertech system, there are two doors. Okay, because the next question would be, if I may, is how do you play the game?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's in every plate and meditation flower you see on my channel, in the center there is a circle that says Soul How You. I don't know if you've ever saw that.
No.
It's Soul How You. The word how is built in to the game. The word how is actually, H is health and the W is wealth. And then you have the target in the middle, which is your consciousness and your awareness, your fullness. Okay. And broken into four, because it's like a compass, news, northeast, right, west and south, the news. So you have the four elements within the center, because that's your wholeness. That's what you really are, okay, in the center. So health is one door. Wealth is another door. Health is when you want to go internal, into the internal world and start your journey. Where wealth is you want to go out into the external world to explore, to start your journey. So that's how you begin. How. So yeah, and then once you move through those degrees, those densities, and if you choose, like for you, if you choose health with depression, right, you're moving through that door. So now you're building, so now you build all the ancillary information that has to do with health, and you leave wealth aside for now. When you graduated through those, then you go into wealth. And then once you graduate through wealth, then you go into the other systems. Then you go into being a player and a director and these kind of ideas. These, you are now no one's remote controlling you. You are controlling yourself, so to speak.
So this game, the time travel game, is a real life self-improvement, become the best version of you game. I'm literally, as I'm choosing, I'm starting my game out, which it's an ideal, there's no accidents. Like for me, this is perfect. Like I'm ready to start. So I've got my how. I choose right now the health aspect and just getting, everything taken care of. I'm now progressing my life and bettering myself in this structure that you've created, whether I'm playing myself or whether there's tons of other people playing around. We're all players in this hypertech reality, if you'd call it that. And then once I progress my health, I can take another path and start progressing out my wealth. And then from what you said, it's going to go beyond that. Let's go a little further. What comes after that?
I'm going to give you 2 words. What comes after that? Because you're dealing with 2 systems, there has to be 2 words. One is share. The other is care.
Okay.
Share. The gut is care. Health in the gut. Share in the mind. Wealth in the mind. And health in the gut. Okay?
Health in the navel.
Okay, exactly. So and then what happens is that you're building your structures on how you are organizing your game. Okay? So I'm sorry, what was the original question at the end? It was so important.
Oh, what comes next?
Oh, what comes next? Okay,
Yeah.
Share. Yeah. So share and care. When you reach a point in your life where you have been blessed with health and that you have an abundance, more than your fair share, more than your need, more than what you even deserve in most cases, because you're so grateful for the abundance that the world has given you, that if you fail, this is how you fail, this is how you lose the game of life, the time travel game, is if you do not get out there and you do not share what you have learned with others, your life experiences, and you do not care enough about your fellow human beings, then you fail at the game. That's what comes next.
That goes right along with scripture that I believe in, and if we become wealthy and we turn down the beggar and we don't help somebody, what's the point? So what you're saying is as you become successful at this game, you now get to be an instrument to assist others along their journey. And we're not taking our wealth with us.
Well, actually, what's happened is my wealth has turned into something else. As you know, like I talk about these concepts, I've taken the abundance of what the world has given me, and I've turned it into a place where I can share them, and I just, in these manners, right? In whatever direction that I'm supposed to be. What's my authentic being? Where is my novelty? How am I genuine? And then I ask for that, so to speak, and then it gives that to me, and then I'm able to share because I care. Right now, I just want to bring up one other thing about sharing and caring, though, is that it doesn't necessarily have to be for humanity itself. It could also be for the earth. It could also be for the air we breathe and the water we drink. It could also be for, many different things, many things that people are passionate about. Some people are passionate about building boats. Well, let's put your energy into that. Put your care and your share into that. I want to see a better boat. I want to see these things in reality. I want Renaissance, because Renaissance is just, activity manifested, people's wishes coming to fruition for me. That's like that gives me motivation, inspiration. Sharing these concepts with you stimulating me with, the journey you've been on, so that way I can learn as well by a thing I call listening. And that is another aspect to how these systems work. And I bring that up because that's been my toughest lesson, right? So I just want to share that aspect with it as well, with caring and sharing. is the gut. Share is the mind.
What you just said, what's been your toughest lesson?
Listening.
Oh, really? I don't get that about you. I think you're a great listener.
Well, yeah, no, I try to be, but I'm saying but I try to be. See, I try to be. I want to be. I want that. I want to be at peace with that aspect of myself. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
in order, yeah. So for me, it gives me pleasure and pain to explore those type of concepts. Does that make sense? So everybody experiences pleasure and pain in their own ways, depends on what they do. So with my activity, you think I'm a good listener because I'm purposefully activated that inside of myself, right? That's my activity right now, is to be a good listener, to try and listen.
You've consciously chosen that, so you're now aware of that as a concept in your life, as opposed to someone that's not even conscious of choosing that.
Let's talk about, can we go really deep on that subject?
Oh, let's do it.
Okay. Yeah, let's go deep. Okay, in the time travel game, there are colors. Okay, these colors are associated to different heroes and villains of the time travel game. Okay, let's put it that way. Okay. We've talked previously about how these things are associated to each other, but let's talk about some of the heroes, some of the immortal heroes, and those are the planets, right? And we can let's also do this. Let's take it a step further. Instead of doing the 7, let's do all the planets. Let's do 10. Okay, let's do 10 here. So we'll start with Uranus and we'll end with Saturn. Okay, and we'll associate them to the colors.
And these are all heroes? Planets are heroes?
Heroes or villains.
Oh, or villains. Okay.
Or villains. Here's an example. Some people have a negative opinion of Saturn. They think he's a bad dude, right? Like you've maybe have heard this before. Like people think, he's Satan and stuff. I don't know. I mean, this is like I can share with you why that is. Like some of the.
So I'm brand new at this type of stuff. So basically, what you're saying is like mythology, Greek, like Saturn, the god.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's look at it that way. We can look at it in many different structures. We can look at it in a religious standpoint. Okay. With the gods. Okay. And the gods in this case are named after the Roman gods. Let's just use that for example, the Roman laws, because we have Roman law. So let's use the Roman gods, and we today we call those gods the planets in science. Right. Okay. So science is also associated to religion. Okay. So I want to use the planets because they are the rainbow bridge between science and religion. Okay. Make sense? Is this kind of helpful?
Yeah, right.
So let's talk about who those are. Okay. You have Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter, Venus, Mars, right? You have all these, Mercury. You have all these planets. What did I forget? In Saturn, right? That's Saturn. So you have all these different planets. Those are also in Greek mythology. Characters like Jupiter is Zeus, for example. Okay. Saturn is Kronos. Okay. Where we get the word time from. Yeah. Okay. So you can see, and we use time in science. So this is the bridge that connects both religion and science, are what we call in science the planets, or we call in religion the gods. Okay. And I'm suggesting that these are actually body systems, parts of our bodies as well. This is how they become immortal, because they've woven themselves in the fabric of our reality.
Right. Okay. Our chakras, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Great. Let's do chakras. I love that. I'm glad you brought chakras up. Let's organize the chakras as well within this system. So we're going to do the color. We're going to do the planet or the god, depending on if you want to come from a religious standpoint, we'll call them gods. If you want to come from a science standpoint, we'll call them, the planets. Okay. Because that's how it works in science, right? So you have these two systems, and we're going to connect them with these names. And then what we're also going to do is we're going to give a word. Okay. And the reason why we're going to give a word is because we're going to activate these. Okay. And we're gonna allow the time travel game to start playing a role in our life. In other words, when you see these colors, when you travel, you're gonna have these associations. You're gonna start building these connections, and your neurons are gonna start connecting, and your gut's gonna start connecting, and you're gonna feel it, and you're gonna, okay, there is something strange going on here. What's going on? Right? Yeah. Start tuning in to your reality, your environment locally, and you're going to harmonize yourself with your local environment because you're now tuning yourself into a trinity that we're going to give. That trinity is the name of the God, the color, and the word.
Okay.
Okay, because we want, and now the word is interesting because depending on your nature, you can either use the word as a tool or as a weapon or as an artifact. You may just want to put it on your shelf and look at it. It's pretty. Okay, those are observers, not players, not direct. Those are observers. Observers are great because those people are learning, and later on, if they do decide to play, the observers tend to be the like the leaders.
Oh yeah, because
they get in there. Yeah, they're like, and they get good fast within the game. Or the observer. So never knock an observer. What the kids call, what my daughter, for example, calls an NPC, a non-playable character. There's lots of non-playable characters out there, but at some point, sometimes they find their color and they come out of their shell and they may surprise you. So just want to add that caveat. Now let's do a trinity here. Let's build this game, okay, for fun. Travel game. So that when you travel, you can see if these are realities to you, if these are programs, so you can find out if time travel is playing a role already in your life. You can verify, okay, time travel is playing a role because everywhere I go, I'm seeing these colors, and these colors now I know are associated to a word, and I know that word is also associated to a specific planet, and I notice that those planets are playing a role in our life because I see flowers are white and purple and all these different colors are playing a role, right? So you can see that both nature and the simulation matrix are working within our world. So we have to come to responsible systems, right? This is what we're doing here.
Wow. Okay. I'm connecting. I'm following.
Okay. So the first one we'll say is the color white in the game.
Okay.
White is Uranus.
Okay.
Uranus is offering.
Okay.
The next color is purple. The third eye, by the way.
Right.
White top of the head. We're building this into our body. Right?
Yep.
This is so we can be a transmitter and a receiver and a sensor and all the, all a repeater, all these kind of things. So all the stuff starts flowing through us. Does that make sense? We're organizing our world in harmony with all of life. Okay. This is kind of what we're doing.
Gotcha.
So purple, okay, is the star. Okay. Some people call it the sun.
Oh, okay.
Okay. It depends on which model you're working in. Okay, religious model or in science model. Now here's what's interesting. This is where the yin and the yang take place. So you'll notice that words will be interchangeable. When we get to the moon, the same thing will take place. The words will be interchangeable.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Okay. This is important because these are like the balancing points. The sun is electric. The moon is magnetic.
Yeah.
Okay. All this kind of thing. The moon is like in behavior, where the sun is attention.
Oh, okay.
It works within our body system. But anyway, so purple, the star. Now, what's interesting is the star is also another character that I don't want to necessarily bring up that character's name, but there are certain religions that follow the star as well. The morning star. Okay.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay.
So follow me so far? This is a balance. This is a great balancer. Okay. Next is the throat. So blue.
Yep.
Neptune.
Okay. Neptune.
Yep.
Okay. So we've got Uranus, star, or the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Neptune.
Okay. Here's what's important within a time travel game too, is that you as a participant, you as a player, you can move these around. You can change them in the way that you want to organize them as well, because this will give you different skills and different talents, different abilities. And it also could be detrimental to you as well. So you have to be careful. So this is why it's a game. You want to be able to practice. Okay. So now Neptune or blue, Neptune, commerce. Okay. It also is communication, commerce, communication. They're similar. Okay. They're the same thing. Okay. It's important because we're moving the inward to the outward and the outward's going into the inward. So there's a recycling going on with Neptune, okay? Like water, right? We drink water through our throat goes down our throat. So it touches all the water that we, goes through. Okay. Next is, where was I? Oh yeah. Venus,
Good.
the heart. Okay. Or sorry, I should do it this way. Green, Venus, which is also the heart, and that is service.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So now, next is where the diaphragm is. Okay. Your solar plexus, right? Jupiter.
Ah.
Okay? The color yellow.
Yeah.
Okay. And the word for that is activity.
Activity. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Next is orange, Mercury, change. Okay. Next is red, priority. Okay. And Mars.
Ah, okay.
Now what we're going to do is we're going to go beyond the chakras. Those are the chakras.
Okay.
And when you go out about your day, look at the signs, because we're going to build your gut. Look at the signs. Look at the colors of the signs. Associate these things and see that there is a program, a system, a simulation running in front of you all the time that is organized. There's a structure always in front of you. If in time travel, you have to travel. So go in time and travel and look for yourself at all the signs and symbols around you. Look at all the businesses. Look at all, you will see these colors are organized very specifically, especially when you're talking about people who are bringing in products from like the large companies, the ones that have been around a long time, the families. When you see those kind of companies, look at their colors, because they're all the billionaires, so to speak. They are the ones who communicate these type of systems, not the millionaires, but the billionaires. They're part of this. They're part of this organizational system. Okay.
Do you think they're aware?
Very aware.
Okay.
Very aware. There's degrees and levels. There's densities in which you go through. So now let's go beyond the chakras.
Okay.
And let's go into brown. Okay. Pluto. Culture. Again, we talked about this last time with museums. All the signs of brown they're always culture. Yeah. So next, let's go to the shins. The moon. Support.
Hold on, go to the shins. What's that?
The shins. So we have the thighs, which was brown.
Oh, the shins. Okay, gotcha.
We're working this from the body. We're organizing this within the body.
Okay.
The shin, the moon, support.
Ah. Okay.
Or it could crumble. Right? Or this keeps us sturdy. This keeps us steady.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What color is that?
Gray.
Gray. Okay.
Great question. The moon is gray, right? It's sharing with us already its feelings on things. It's telling us what it is always, right? So now the last one is black. Saturn. Control. Okay. So time at our feet is Saturn. Saturn has a connection to time. Chronos in the Greek or whatever, in Roman, and then you have space, which is Uranus, and space is all the space above us, right? All space comes with time, like all time comes with space, because Uranus is actually in like mythology, it's called the Ouroboros, the snake that eats its own tail. Okay. It's the black and the white, like it's the cycle itself. That's what space is like. It's like a cycle.
Gotcha.
Where time is like where you left everything, exactly where the position is of the intensity of the temperature and the pressure that existed at that particular moment. So you know where you can find it, where you know where you left it. It's the evidentiary aspects where time is more the pressure. Okay. That's why we feel air and, we see earth, kind of things like that. So those are the planets, the colors, and built in, and a word, so that way you can begin your journey. This is how you begin, so to speak. And then you build upon that. You decide how that plays a role in your life, how you want to harmonize with those things.
Gotcha. Okay.
Was that too much?
I mean, it's gonna take. I'm excited. I love that we get to talk and that we record these because I'm excited to go back and watch it again and learn these systems within myself and how they connect and.
Yeah. So those are heroes, and those are the heroes and the villains.
Okay, so.
Oh, wait, one more thing.
Yeah.
So okay, so those are the heroes and the villains, but the most important part I left out.
Okay.
There is another player in the game.
Okay.
That is you. That is me. That is all of us. And what makes us unique from them is that we are the full color spectrum of all of those things.
Okay.
Because we've incorporated into the singularity we call a body. And so now we have access to play and practice and participate with those systems.
Yeah.
This is because we are like the rainbow bridge between all of that. And so to bring it to this is the final point to it. When I talk about the two doors, health or wealth, the internal or the external, okay, it's important to, oh shoot, I lost my train of thought there. But it's okay. So health, so health and wealth. So when we bring these in, we have to have some type of foundation in order to activate those concepts, to maneuver within those things. So with health, we're going to look inside of ourselves. So one of the things that I recommend people do is they get a blood panel drawn.
Yeah.
Find out what their blood type is. Find out, what foods they're allergic to, because through the colors, you can actually harmonize your health by having certain colors play a role, because you may be lacking in certain areas and your blood will give that to you. You get a food panel done, you'll know what foods you're allergic to, you'll know what foods help you, and you can incorporate these things. So for example, if you really want to work on the mind and walnuts are beneficial for you, you can eat a lot of walnuts because walnuts look like brains, right? And you want to eat foods that kind of look, I know it sounds crazy, but you can also eat foods that look like what you're trying to work on. You want to work on your gut? Eat ginger. Okay. You want to work on your eyes? Carrots, right? You cut a carrot, it looks like an eye. Like you cut a carrot and look at it, it looks like an eye.
Yeah, you're right.
Ginger looks like a gut. So you have all, kidney beans, right? You got all these different, the nature of our reality, the natural analog organic matrix, it mimics all systems, even our bodies. Our bodies mimic too. Our bodies do the same thing. Ours just are more complex. So the plants do this for us. So we can add these into our life when, we're working on certain areas. So that's by blood, taking blood, looking inside, looking at yourself inside, because blood will even tell you what you ate yesterday. You know what I mean? It'll tell you everything you want to know, tell you all your levels. Find out what that is. The other aspect, I don't want to be too long-winded, but the other aspect is if you go through the door of wealth, what I suggest, what I do when people come to me and they work with me in my systems, I find out which door they want to go through first. If they go through the wealth door, then what I do is I pull their star chart. I find out exactly where the planets were, right? Because we're talking about planets here. I found exactly where they were on the moment of their birth, because that'll tell me what things were working together, what things were in conflict. It'll give me a blueprint, so that way I can help build their temple, their structure, I can help build them, because I know exactly what they're lacking and what they're really good at.
Wow.
Does that make sense? And so now we can build systems around them that bring them income. Because since they're looking out, they're going to find out that what they're really looking for is in. And when you're looking in, what you're really looking for is something out. It's kind of like, it's like this give and take, this cycle, this yin and yang. And so they go out and so build systems that are in harmony with your own blueprint. This is why the star chart is pulled. So that way you're not in conflict. Like if you want to become a dentist, but you faint at the sight of blood, because your star chart shows, even that stuff, it gets crazy. Like you can get down to those kind of details when you pull your star chart. It's like, it gives you a pattern, your own fabric. You're unique. There's nobody else like you. So you can build models around that for wealth, so you can bring in the aspects that you are passionate about. So you're always working within industries that you enjoy, because that's where your inspiration and your perspiration come from, that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, that's where you find your passion. That's what you're into. So if someone wanted to start working on the wealth aspect of the game and choose that route, which I'm sure a lot of people would love that. We've been about an hour now, so there's a lot of follow-up questions that I keep having, come through my head. So I'm excited to go a little bit more in depth next week. Wanted to get some final thoughts from you.
Yeah. Okay. I would like to share one last thought here.
Yeah.
I would like to separate that there is a difference in the time travel game between the subjective and the objective. Okay. And there's different ways to access those systems. Okay. The objective is when you are making choices, because you also have the law of confusion. Okay. The law of confusion, again, you have the right to not know, but you also have the law of free will, the law of choice. So because you have free will, what I do is I structure them in this is my own personal structure here that I'd like to share, because I think it might bring some evidence to how these systems, these realms are accessed. Okay. So there's the aggregated, which includes all people. So you want to make sure that the things that you do in life, you're in harmony with other people's wants as well. Does that make sense? You're not trying to violate them or harm them or make them do something that they do not want to do.
Right.
You let them make that choice. Let them make that decision. So you become not indifferent, and not necessarily tolerant, but you just are respectful of their position, and you allow them to decide what it is that they want, because these systems can be complex. Okay, so the objective includes all, where the subjective includes yourself. So I always like to let people know that there is a give and a take, where I receive reward, treasure, and benefit from these systems as well. Does that make sense? So there's a what some people may call a selfish component too, as opposed to a service or serving component, right? Because when you practice these things, you want to be able to improve. You want to see reward. You want to see treasure. You want to see things come back to you, because that gives you confirmation that what you're doing is good. Mm-hmm. Okay. If you're getting harmful things back to you, then maybe that's when you need to start paying attention to change, right? So I'm sorry about this long explanation, but I just want to finish off on this idea. So when these systems are accessed within the morality matrix, for example, within these things with elemental hypertech, people need to understand where I'm coming from. When I organize these meditations, these talks, it has the 4 elements associated to them. The element of air is in the mind. The door that I open for that is called reverence. Okay, the elements. So I'm giving this to you. I'm giving you reverence. In other words, I'm opening the door, and I want to say this in conclusion because of my gratitude towards you, and that comes from the heart, is gratitude, and that is the element of fire. So reverence, gratitude. My gut is humility, because I've learned. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. I'm still being taught things by you. I'm learning things. I'm grateful, I'm reverent of those things. I'm humbled by the fact that you're sharing with me. Okay, this is the element of water. These are the objective of how I access this system. My body is sincerity. I just ask that sincerity is my body. I express it through that. Does that make sense? So that's the objective. Now the subjective is different. The subjective is self. Okay, where you have the all, now we have the one. Okay, so this is the I am, and the other is the am I? Right? It's like the question. This one is the I am. So here's what I get. My mind, the element of air, is evidence. This is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for evidence. But my gut doesn't want evidence. My gut wants compassion, wants pressure. Okay? That's what my gut wants to feel it. Could care less about seeing it. So reverence, gut, compassion. Okay? Then there is, and then, we should go to the heart next, the echo experiment. The echo is in the heart, fire is trust. I want to be in a position to what the things that you share with me, I can trust. I can trust that they are your experiences. And I can trust that they are your perspectives. So they're not somebody else's. that make sense? That's what trust is. Trust is knowing that you are genuine, you are authentic, you are novel, you are unique, and that you are expressing that self as close to aiming and accurate as you possibly can. We're not all, nobody can hit the bullseye every single time, right? We got to give leeway to that. We got to let people miss. Okay, missing is important because picking yourself back up again. Now, if you do that, that is reverence. That makes sense? That goes into the body, which is integrity. Okay? So integrity of the body, is the body sturdy? Is the body strong? Is it stable? Is it holding up? Or, when you beat on it, is it becoming stronger or is it becoming weaker?
Yeah.
So I kind of just want to end on that. So there's the objective and the subjective that we're bringing together, okay, in a way. So we have one love.
One love. That's the key. See, I've grown so much just from this conversation. I felt as you're describing these things, you're actually assisting me in integrating this into my system. I'm getting one-on-one coaching from the best coach there is on the hypertech system. So yeah, but I've got a lot of follow-up questions. I'm excited to continue digging in deeper to this. This is just scratching the surface. So let's just plan again for another video next week.
Yeah, I love talking with you.
Oh, it's good. It's a good time. Other than that, go do some good.
Thanks again. I really thank you again for everything you do for me as well, and sharing with me and caring about others and the things that you talk about. So I appreciate it.
Living the dream, right?
Living the dream every day.
Every day.
Every day is a holiday. 4th of July.
Every day. Every day ends in Y, right?
Cheers.
All right. Other than that, we'll see you on the next one. One love.